Good morning, Samoa, and welcome back to Star Trek The Original Series, Season 1, Episode 22, or as the real fans know it, Episode 24, where today, of course, we are going to be watching Space Seed, the iconic... oh my goodness, my throat can't... The iconic episode that introduces Khan. Y'all remember Khan SETI Alpha 5? I was thinking about that sitting here. Whatever happened to that? That's the audio drama podcast thing that was announced, God, like 7 years ago. That is about Khan in between the events of this episode and the Wrath of Khan. And then, like, 2 or 3 years ago, they gave it a name and they announced it, and that, like, you know, they announced its name and more details on what it was, and I've never heard anything about it since. I googled it before, and nope, we just haven't heard anything. I don't even know if it's still going. I guess it is. But yeah, we're not watching that. Today, we're watching Space Seed, which if you don't know what we're doing, I mean, it's Space Seed. You might not. This might be a lot of people's first time. We are basically recording an audio commentary track live. You can see the time bar on screen now. In a little bit, I'll show a blurred version of the episode, because obviously, for legal reasons, I can't just stream an episode of Star Trek. So it is Bring Your Own Video. There's a link to Paramount Plus in the description. Yeah, no, I think I changed that. I'm like, it might say the wrong number, but the link is to Paramount Plus. I will oh yeah, in a little bit, I'm gonna ramble so people can get set up, but in a little bit, we'll do a countdown, we'll all hit play at the same time, and then everyone will be synced up. Personally, I will be watching the remastered version, as I always will. It probably won't make much of a difference, today. If you watch the original, we'll still stay in sync. It'll still be the same time. It's just if I comment on a visual effect, it is the remastered edition from probably like 20 years ago now at this point. I remember my dad got the remastered editions on HD DVD. Not Blu-ray, HD DVD, which is probably a narrow age band of people who remember HD DVD. So yeah, that tells you when they remastered it. But Space Seed, it's a good one. You know, it's a good one. I don't remember if it's one of, like, my personal all-time favorites or not. I haven't seen it in several years, probably since my wife and I rewatched TOS. But that's part of why we do these watch-alongs. It's a good one, you know, at the very least. We will try not to complain about how Strange New Worlds handles canon. If you want that, you can go watch my review on whatever episode. What was it? Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I think it was that one. But yeah, we're just gonna treat this as ignoring Strange New Worlds as much as possible until Khan says he's from the 90s. But yeah, I think let's just get into it. Gonna take a quick drink. And as I mentioned briefly before, we are going to do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And on go, everyone's going to hit play. And then we'll be synced up. And that's how it goes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. I'm always glad when it hits play. Every now and then we have to backtrack and redo that. You know, I've just realized, was I even streaming the background hums for the engines? Or was that muted? Whoops, I might have had 2 minutes of silence. I've got a botany bay from Eagle Moss, of course. It's a nice little ship design, of course, because it's older within the Star Trek universe. I do like the Botany Bay as a little cargo ship. Yeah, see, I like I mean, it's got the general rocket shape, which is good. I don't know if it's propulsed, driven by, like, rocket propulsion, like a normal rocket. But, you know, it also has those modular silos that can pop on and off. I've always liked it. It's drifting kind of close. Maybe you want to back up, Kirk? But full... That might be overkill. I feel like we're gonna go to the credits, because that's, like, supposed to get you dramatic and, like, bought in. But, why? It's like a 200-year-old cargo ship with some life on it. Is this really a red alert scenario? Maybe yellow alert. Maybe, but... Someone's a bit jumpy today. I think this might be actually my favorite remaster. Probably because it's mostly ships. But the main reason I prefer the remastered over the original, which I usually don't, is the originals are like just a bunch of very bad green screen of ships and stuff. Like you can see green screen holes, and it just it just doesn't sell it. It doesn't really work for me. Not even in a like that's impressive for the time, which usually when I watch old Doctor Who, for example, it's full of like, oh, that's really good, you know, because you can appreciate like that artistry and making the model work or whatever effect they're doing. But like this shot here, if you're watching the remastered, like, yeah, those are the ships, but it's also just exactly how the ships were. Like if they had better green screen tech in the 60s, it would look like that. I know it's a digital model, but, you know, you just get some slight, like, rotations and wonks on the ships, too, to help it feel more derelict. It's really, like, this is all I want from a remaster. You know, if we had cryogenics or whatever in the 90s, how come people, like, you think you might just assume they might be cryogenically frozen? We presumably have records of what that's like. God, I've got my Star Trek history wrong. I guess the eugenics wars were World War III at first, and then we split them apart? Right? Someone in chat might know. Because World War III is what destroys the world for First Contact in, like, 2 or 3 years. And the eugenics wars are the 90s. Stranger Worlds. McGivers. McGivers. Even I could tell you the name was MacGyvers from that. I forgot about the historian in this episode, though. It's probably one of the worst female characters Star Trek has, just off the top of my head. Like, already, we characterized her as having basically nothing to do on the ship, which, I mean, she's a historian. I guess that makes sense. But she's also seems to be annoyed that they actually want her for once. It's an outfit choice. I'd forgotten the outfit. As I said, it's been a while for Space Seed. This is a decent set, though. A bit gray, maybe because it's old-fashioned. You don't have the colorful lights. But it's sizable enough. It's interesting. You got the cryopods. I like it. Atomic power implies it might be propulsed by, like, ion drive or something. I don't know. I was gonna say something confidently, but I'm not that good on near-future engines. Did it? Well, depends on the planet. Oh, now it looks like TOS. That's Khan. I'd know his picture anywhere. Yeah, this was always weird even before you get Strange New Worlds or the movie or something, that no one recognizes Khan despite everyone kind of admiring Khan. And let's not even bring Leon into the discussion yet. Look, she's actually a historian. Don't get me wrong, like, historians don't know every historical figure, but she seems to be knowledgeable about this time period. She knows about the ship, she's intimately familiar with the cryogenic systems, which were only used around this place. I don't know enough about how people talked in the 60s to know if mixed types isn't exactly how you would phrase that, but it sounds weird. I wonder who designed those outfits. Like, what was the thought process between Speedo and fishing net? Well, his voice is broken. Does he give a date? Oh, so we are pretty firmly in, well, still 2021, which isn't right. Like, that's fairly consistent now. We had an episode recently that said that, but we're still 100 years early. So I wonder when we switch to being the 23rd century as opposed to the 22nd. Where are the engines on that ship? Why does that matter? Scotty, we know you hate women, but for God's sake, it takes a while before we get to that point. Are there really that many unanswered questions about the 90s? Hey, there we go. Nuclear powered. I was right. He's so ashamed. Oh, finally, he's at least good at logic in this one. I mean, Kirk is being smug as hell, but, like, what do you want, Kirk? Do you want wild, unfounded speculation from your science officer? Because I fully believe you do, but you shouldn't. I don't know if it invites danger, but it does invite risk. Like, not knowing that someone is, like, totally peaceful and means you no harm doesn't make them dangerous. It makes the scenario risky. Look, we just watched Data's Day, and so, I'm sorry, Spock, you're never gonna beat Data in a competition between you and Data's Day. Come on, connect the... Okay, good, they were gonna connect the dots. So eugenics is like a horrific philosophy. Absolutely. But I do find it interesting when you lump in things like, let's make the heart better. Let's make all humans stronger. I should put that through like genetic engineering, not like selective breeding, anything like that. Like, there is something kind of frightening about the idea. But it's almost like it's hard to think of actual reasons why you wouldn't want to make everybody, you know, have their heart be stronger, have everybody be more resilient to disease through like genetic engineering, or things like that. And I don't know, I feel like there are a lot of interesting things you could actually do with this genetic engineering technology than just lumping it into the, well, we had the eugenics wars once, therefore we will totally abstain from all genetic engineering, even to the point of, like, curing illnesses that'll kill you. It's like, look, that's kind of... Enterprise, at least, likes to touch on that a little bit. And Enterprise even reverts that philosophy, where it's like, hey, your father died because he had, like, sickle cell anemia. We didn't have to do that. And they're like, oh gosh, you're right, maybe we should rethink our total ban. It's also interesting to note that maybe a month or two ago, the US government approved the first genetic engineering treatment for humans, which were two sickle cell anemia treatments. Not treatments, cures. Sickle cell anemia cures. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a future where we make ourselves, you know, more resistant to disease, stronger, things like that. By the way, Bones, I hate you, but this is a great scene here. I feel like you don't really get that aspect of Bones anywhere else, but it is It is a very hardcore reaction. This is the best scene Bones has. More of an insane man, but still. Unite? Oh, actually, yeah, that is what it stands for. Wait, why do we say we don't know what USS stands for? It's right there, United Spaceship. In, like, a incredibly famous episode. How have we all forgotten this? Although I do wish it was United Starship, but it might have gripe. I will say, this episode does actually seem to be moving quite quickly every time I glance down at the time bar, because they updated VLC Media so I can't move it to another monitor. It's one I might call slow and slower than it needs to be, but I am still engaged with it, so that's something. I don't know if you had to tell him that. A genetically engineered man named Khan from the 90s. I wonder who the hell this guy could be. Really, Doctor? You just had your best scene, and now you're like, yeah, I buy that. I mean, on the one hand, it's good characterization that, like, he'll get all the answers he needs. He'll give the most basic facts about himself, but also is information he needs. Do these people know who I am? Saying he's Khan and having Kirk go, hang on a minute, I know you, you're Hitler. Like, that's information he needs. And as soon as Kirk starts asking probing questions, he's like, I can't answer anymore. But also, God, Bones, you've established how amazing this guy's physiology is. He's already held a knife to Bones' throat. You think maybe he should be restrained. Bones hasn't even mentioned that aspect yet. That's ageist? No? I don't know what that is, but it's certainly something. Temporalist? Timist? Oh god, I forgot about that. Okay, let's touch up on this. So the eugenics wars, it wasn't genetic engineering. It was selective breeding. In 1993, right? Khan, let's say he's 20 years old, you know, give him a chance. This came out in 1966? So, oh god, I hate that quote. We'll get back to that. But, like, 27 or so years later, you had Khan. So for the course of 7 years, we had managed to selectively breed a super soldier with Khan's abilities. 7 years is one generation. Like, unless we're getting into some even more horrific stuff, you're not gonna get a con. It's just so bizarre. But yeah, God, I hate that superior ambition breeds superior ability. Have you ever, when you were in school, had an individual who they could go to any college they want, whatever. They could go to, like, Stanford, Harvard, Oxford, you know, wherever hell they want. Super smart, could get straight A's, but God, they're just so lazy that they don't care, and they put all of their effort to figuring out exactly the minimum requirement of work that they have to do in order to not get an A, but pass. Just pass the class. And they'll do that. They'll take a test and only answer the first, like, 4 questions because they've worked out they only need to answer the first 4 questions, and they're 100% confident they'll get the first 4 correct, and they're right. That's someone with incredible ability that does not have superior ambition. I mean, I've been told by a lot of people I'm quite intelligent. I'm not, like, well, that sounded so... that sounded a lot more arrogant than I thought. But no, I was in, like, advanced classes, AP classes for all of school. In the younger years, I was in some of the advanced programs they have. They have different names. It's not standardized in this country. But, like, God, I have no ambition. It's like, but they ban, like, genetic engineering because, well, I guess if we make your muscles 20% stronger, you'll become Hitler. That's how the world works. Not to mention how many people who are, like, totally incompetent but have ridiculous levels of ambition. It's an absurd philosophy that, at least Strange New Worlds is starting to challenge, but it is a shame it is Strange New Worlds, which can't actually make any progress because, well, it takes place before this episode. Red celery, my favorite. Oh my god, wait, it's a food that isn't the, like, cubes. Yeah, we're expecting Hitler. Let's see. Do I run with the insinuating Kirk is gay? Or do I run with the regressive, the historian is attracted to Khan because he's got big pecs? You know what? I'm gonna say it. This episode, man. It's well paid. Well, it's gripping your interest at least. But it's got, like, some of the worst treatment of the female officer. It's not much is happening. Like, if you take out the Wrath of Khan, I'm not sure anyone would really remember this episode too strongly. Or too positively, at least. Is there an episode of TOS that does, like, a woman good? Just one. Because I'm drawing some blanks here. Let's see. Uhura, Spock, Scotty, and Kirk. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. About half of the people at this table, if you include the 2 waitresses, have all met a direct descendant of Khan and are fully aware of who Khan is, just so we're clear. look, people claim Strange New Worlds is like some sort of perfect return to Trek. It's good, but God, does it have problems. I mean, he didn't, though. He didn't. That's a good counter. I also don't really understand this glorification of Rome. I mean, yeah, they were good engineers, but like they also had a lot of horrific just everything, just horrific, period. That's the end of the sentence. Who the hell said that? Social occasions are warfare concealed. Con. Putting that phrase into Google, every single result is about Star Trek. So, there we go. I don't remember the guy's name, but the guy that plays Khan does do a good job. It's a great take on like an authoritative figure. He's got a great voice. He's got great outfits, a great look. He certainly has like the body and the muscles to portray someone who's been selectively bred to be like some sort of peak physical, peak human performance or whatever. Yeah, we just... God, how much of this episode is dedicated to this poor, unfortunate woman? Somehow. Yeah, I know you're Hitler. He's also, I mean, again, you could kind of take it two ways, where Khan is good at getting what he wants here. He wants MacGyver, and he's doing an amazing job of, like, socially manipulating her to get him. Not out of love, but, I don't know, lust, power. But you can also look at the reverse of, good lord, this is an awful representation of like this woman that's systematic of the entire series, and especially when you consider her upbringing, the culture she lives in, everything like that, her position, her rank is absolutely appalling. Yeah. Like, she goes through this and then decides, yeah, I'm not going to report this because I guess I don't have anything to do on my job. I don't know, if anything, that might be her fault. Like, if you're a historian, why would you go into Starfleet? Like, what's her motivation here? Just, I'm attracted to this man I just met and who I know is Hitler, and therefore I will betray everything I care about because I guess... Like, it's like she's tired of him. It's like she feels trapped and can't go against him, which might work for a character if, I don't know, they're in some sort of palace, or like... You know, there's a backstory that they were together for years, and she's kind of only now realized who he is. She's literally on a Federation starship. Go to Kirk and then live on the bridge. Like, you can escape the situation. Here's a bit interesting of tidbit. The name Noonien Singh and Noonien Soong from TNG comes from some guy. Oh, God. Scotty, shut up. Oh, my God, shut up. Yeah, let's just talk over this scene. Actually, let me just, I'm sorry, take off my headphones for a sec. But yeah, the name Noonien Singh and Noonien Soong come from a soldier Roddenberry knew in, I think, Vietnam? Something. Roddenberry was involved in the military somewhere that he wanted to reconnect with, and so he kind of threw the name out in a lot of what he did. As I understand it, he never met the guy again, but that's where it comes from. Wow, I think that's the first time I've actually had to take my headphones off, though, because it's just so... I won't necessarily claim it's unrealistic. Actually, I will for the 23rd century. But a lot of people, you know, admire even just aspects of horrible people or horrible things. Like, the whole admiration of, like, guns is one that gets me. Like, why? It's like, isn't it or like military equipment, we can go more broadly, like a fighter jet. Isn't it like an amazing piece of engineering? It's like, no, it's horrible. Like, there's nothing to appreciate. You've had all this genius of engineering and you've put it into a weapon of destruction. Like, there's nothing to admire. There's literally nothing to admire about that. It is actively disgusting. And it's even worse with this guy who was literally like a dictator who took over 25% of the world. And I can't stress enough, he believes in eugenics and not like a genetic engineering. Oh yeah, let's just kind of make everyone's lives better. Sort of, I mean, it's still, eugenics is bad. Eugenics has like overtones of racial inequality and stuff like that. But even if we take the most generous form of let's just make everyone's lives better, regardless of race, it's better immune systems, a bit stronger, stuff like that. He's not doing it through genetic engineering. He's doing it through selective breeding, which inherently requires a removal of freedoms, a forcing of people to like reproduce over generations, and is just antithetical to everything the Federation and, you know, most of the... No, like, probably all of, like, the current Western world, let alone a lot of the other countries, believe in. It's like, no. No. Look, Hitler was a vegan. As a vegan, I'm not gonna sit here praising Hitler's vegan philosophy. Yeah, it's good, but he's still Hitler, you know what I mean? This is a bad one. The more we get long. Maybe when he takes over the ship, it'll get good. But this episode is just falling the more I stick with it. Well, is it well constructed, though? Because you have a flaw in, like, the central motivations of characters. You have very problematic views with the women and even to eugenics, which this episode is against, but we still have people admiring for some reason. Yeah, no, it's well paced, I guess. Well, nah, it's okay. You know what? The remastered effects are good. Look at that. We're even keeping the women in their, like, scanty bikinis and stuff, but all the men get to wear these jumpsuits. Even down to, like, the little things. I guess the fact that the crew is like a big mix of ethnicities is meant to show that they weren't racist. You know, they wanted the good of all. There's sort of supposed to be some sort of altruistic motive behind the eugenics wars. But, like, them not being racist doesn't change the fact that they're seemingly sexist and authoritarian and dictators and, might I remind you, started World War III. And eugenicists, I should point that out as well. I have to keep bringing this one up. I don't know why we kept you by the button, but we did. As you do. Spock, it's just literally the first two things that Kirk thought of. I mean, you could spend the last remaining time of your life just destroying the bridge. Go ham, hit things with chairs, pull out wires, absolutely wreck that bridge. What about that contingency? He doesn't seem to think about that one. They haven't even tried the self-destruct. I mean, I think there are probably some options. Sure, they might not have written a self-destruct yet, but yeah, details. I think it's Bones' fault for not mentioning that Khan had a knife. Interesting philosophy. Like, the point is that Khan is wrong. Like, eugenics is wrong. That is the point. But this line as well, which is kind of famous, also just seems really weird. Like, you know, make a better tool, and you might gain double the efficiency. It's like, well, okay, but that compounds, Khan. You get exponential growth. Like, mechanized farming is 10 times more efficient than horse-drawn farming, which is 10 times more efficient than, like, you know, farming with slaves or people, which is 10 times more efficient than, like, what we started with. And not to mention the, like, constant gains we've gotten in better seeds and whatnot. Whereas, you know, it also, I don't know that you do get 1,000-fold increase. Like, are you really 1,000 times better farmer than a John Deere? I don't know about that one. Like, he's just... I would have loved to see people challenge Khan on a lot of his beliefs, but I think the episode is almost saying eugenics is bad because it works. Because, like, Khan is just better. He's just immoral. They're saying eugenics is bad because it produces immoral people, which is nonsensical. And, like, you could just as easily write an episode where eugenics doesn't produce immoral people. As I've already said, this, like, putting forth the idea that superior ability breeds superior ambition is utter nonsense. So, based solely off this episode, why should I disagree with eugenics? I think there's a trend in a lot of these Season 1 episodes to where they don't really seem to want to actually engage with the questions they're putting forth. Yeah, good luck with that one. Fine. That seems like what they want. This is the ideal outcome. Well, it's the second best outcome, let's be fair. I really respect, though, and I love that in the original series, especially, I feel you get the scenarios where in any other show, it'd be like, if you don't do this, I'll kill the captain. Any other show, not just Star Trek, would sit up and be like, no, I'll do what you say. But here, literally every single member of the ship is like, yeah, all right. After Kirk, like, I'll go next. It's like, I'll kill everyone on this ship one by one. Yeah, okay, then we win. Good. And, like, that's, God, it's so refreshing. Especially, you know, I love Doctor Who, but every Doctor Who episode has the Doctor going like, I'll never help you. Oh, well, I'll shoot your companion. No, I'll help you. I'm like, yeah, I want the one where everyone's like, fine. Kill us all one by one so that we win. Bye. Also, what was her plan? Because as far as she knows, they're still watching this on the view screen. Why does the medical bay have a pressure chamber you can fit a person in? That's a good question. You might say, oh, decompression sickness, or maybe there's an alien of, like, a different, you know, physiognomy or whatever. But then why would you have the compression chamber in the middle of the ship and not shuttle bay or something? Wait, did he say I saved your life, please don't kill me, or please don't kill them? I thought I was the captain now. The intruder control circuit. I really want to know what the intruder control circuit does. You know, what does it say that Khan's crew, I'm pretty sure, is actually more diverse than the crew of the Enterprise? Boom, 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 boom. All decks except engineering. Also clearly the one that you happen to be in. And apparently the one I happen to be in. Man, Kirk, you literally just got someone with that move. That's gotta be rough. I bet that top phaser still works, though. Like the one that goes into the gun-shaped mold and makes it work. Unideal, but that means they win, Khan. Well, I guess they're saying they already recaptured the ship, and this like stunt double here is gonna take out Khan, but it kind of undermines what I was saying earlier, where everyone on the ship was willing to die one by one, so Khan didn't win. But now Kirk is unwilling to I'm sorry, Kirk's stunt double is unwilling to sacrifice everyone on the ship, so that Khan doesn't win. That shouldn't be so easy to remove. All right, there we go. I guess 5 times your strength is no match for Kirk and his plastic rod. What is this? What is this episode? It's not the worst episode, but It's kind of a mess. That's fine, I guess. You can laugh at it. Controversial, I know. Oh yeah, how did I forget this? Why? Wait, actually why? Not prison, not execution, a reorientation center. It is a waste to take these extraordinarily intelligent and capable individuals who believe in eugenics and authoritarianism and rehabilitate them to extraordinarily intelligent and capable individuals who believe in utopian values, individual freedoms, and the Federation. That is a waste! I don't know if Kirk's read a book, Con, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if Kirk can read after this. Just go die on a planet, I guess. Okay, obviously she's gonna pick going. And I guess technically Kirk hasn't seen everything that's going on, but after all we've characterized her is basically seeming to be trapped and working against her will in an abusive relationship, is this really the good ending? Like, hey, do you want to go with your abuser who you feel you can't leave, or do you want to, like, come back with us? We're watching Space Seed, Alex. We're watching the one with Khan.
Oh, fuck.
Alex, that's the moment Alex chose to walk downstairs and... Well, at least the Wrath of Khan is better. That's what I'll say. At least the Wrath of Khan is better. Even Scotty here, the serial woman hater, is just gobsmacked. And see, like, you know, how much it sucks. I wonder if they'll ever make that audio drama. Is that an American flag? No, what the heck is that flag? It's like a red corner, but with blue and white stripes. It's like some weird inverse American flag.
Stream can't hear laundry if I start it, right?
What?
Stream can't hear laundry if I start it, right?
Well, I'm about to end. Just literally give me like a minute or two.
Oh, cool. Never mind.
Yeah. But they almost
certainly
certainly
got
could.
a special guest.
Yep, Comet sitting behind me. That one... It wasn't the worst episode I've seen, but it was probably the worst good one. It was the worst one, Space Seed. I know. Welcome to my first controversial opinion.
Have you gotten this box brain yet?
No, that's in like a year or two. Yeah, next... I mean, there's still a lot of good ones remaining in this season that I actually like. Devil in the Dark, fantastic. That'll actually be probably a month from now because I'm taking 2 weeks off of Star Trek. We've got This Side of Paradise next time, which is the one where there's a planet that makes everyone high or something. I don't remember. It's something like that. There's Errand of Mercy, which sounds desperately familiar. That's the one with the Klingons. That's a Klingon one, yeah. City on the Edge of Forever is, of course, that's a good one. I think a lot of people like that one more than I do, but that is a solid episode, at least. And then Operation Annihilate. Actually, that's the one with Kirk's brother, isn't it? I always think it's the Gary 7 one, but no, That one's not great. But then we're done with Season 1. You know, then we got, then we'll have Lower Decks. I believe it works out to we will finish Season 1 and then Lower Decks starts up. And after Lower Decks, we will pop into Season 2. And I've just realized I'm still sewing my semi-transparent background. But yeah, with that, I think I will wrap it up. I will say thank you all very much for watching. And I'll see you next time!